Hi guys, Geetrue64 here, and today we're talking physical media, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys my DC animated collection. Now, I was originally just going to focus on the DCAU, which kicked off with Superman Doomsday back in '07, and just focus on the DCAU titles, which I have almost all of the movies for, but I decided, you know what, let me just pull all of my DC animated stuff off the shelf and talk about them. I was originally thinking about ranking all of these, but I was kind of overwhelmed with the amount of movies. So I may have to do like a tier list or something like that in the future. So what I did do was I actually took them and I put them all in order of release. So that's how we'll be going through them here today. So if you're new to the DCAU, hopefully this might give you some idea of where to start. I do think the earlier movies are far superior to the ones we've been getting lately, and doing this DC video was actually a suggestion of a subscriber who commented in one of my last collection update videos. So that kind of gave me a push to do this with a video that I've been thinking about doing for quite some time now. So really looking forward to talking about some DC here today. With all that said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Now I'm going to focus on the Bruce Timm stuff first. The Bruce Timm animated universe, which is awesome. I'll share with you guys what I've got there, and then we'll move into the DCAU. So first up, we've got the classic. This was the first of the DC animated things that I actually picked up back in the day when these initially released. I only have season 1 and 2. They did change the animation style, and season 3 and 4. I still like those seasons, but I prefer the animation style from the first 2 seasons, so these are the only 2 that I got. I believe I ended up paying like $20 to $30 back when these first came out. So, you know, they were pretty expensive. One of the things I can say, even though the price of individual movies has gone up, the price of like TV shows and stuff like that has actually gone down over time. So obviously, there's a lot I could say about this Batman animated series, my top 5 animated series of the 90s. Just a great show that really introduced a way of looking at Batman as a kid that I hadn't before. And yeah, so I really dig it. So I had those first 2 seasons there. And then they did come out with a Blu-ray a few years back, and I ended up picking it up. I paid $35 for this one. I think I might have got it on sale for $30.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
So really great deal. This Blu-ray complete series was actually less than just the 2 DVDs, the 2 seasons of DVDs that I got when those came out. And I have watched a few of these episodes. The Blu-ray actually looks pretty good. I do think it is an upgrade over the DVD for sure. There's lots of special features on this, and there's the animated films of Mask of the Phantasm and Batman and Mr. Freeze included in this. A really great box set, and very happy to pick that one up and add that into the collection. This was the DVD that I had of Batman the Mask of the Phantasm, which is now kind of outdated because I have this Blu-ray now, so I don't really need this one anymore, but this was the DVD that I had at the time. And then I just recently, not that long ago, picked up the 4K of Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I think very highly of this movie. I think it's one of the top 5. It's in my top 5 animated DC animated movies, and I really do want to check out the 4K. I actually forgot a little bit that I picked this one up, so doing this collection update reminded me, hey, I do have that, and it wasn't even with my other stuff, so I was able to track it down on my shelves and put it in the right spot. Let's see, we got Batman Beyond. Now, these were a couple of the Batman Beyond series, so before they released the individual seasons, this was the only thing that you could get as far as what was on DVD. I think there was like 6 episodes on each of these, I guess. Looks like, yeah. So 6 episodes were in each of these. So 12 total. These are the terrible snap cases. I never was a fan of these. It's just like cardboard. You know, this was like really early on. This is the first stuff that I got into my collection. This is the only stuff that was available. I love Batman Beyond as well. Another snap case was Batman Beyond: The Return of the Joker. Another really great animated movie. I put this one right up there with Mask of the Phantasm. Some people may not put it up to that level, but I would. I really do love this. Again, it's another kind of crappy snap case. But you know, there's that. And then eventually they did release the Batman Beyond DVDs, the complete series. So I do have the complete series here with season 1, 2, and 3. They have come out with a Blu-ray. I've not upgraded yet. I did hear the Blu-ray is pretty good, and obviously I already have Batman Animated Series Blu-ray, so it's on my list of things to eventually get. I think it's on sale on Amazon right now for $35 for the complete series on Blu-ray. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think that might include Return of the Joker, but I would have to verify that. So, yeah, Batman Beyond, solid. Batman Animated Series, solid. The other big Bruce Timm series was Justice League. This was solid. I remember this was such a big deal when it came out. And going back and watching these, it's really good. I like the fact that they actually did 2-parters and everything, 2 or 3-parters for this. It really gave you time to actually showcase the characters and tell us a story, because it's kind of hard to condense a lot of the stories into, a 22-minute TV show. So that was really solid. And then obviously the spinoff of that was Justice League Unlimited, which did do that. It focused on like 1 or 2 characters and then told a little bit smaller stories, stuff that they could fit those stories into, 22, 23 minutes, focusing on a lot of characters that we really hadn't seen before in a film or animation. So, I think very highly of Justice League. Bruce Timm really did a great job with all of these series. I don't have any of the Superman animated series. I've been wanting to get the Blu-ray. Even though Superman's my favorite character, I remember very infrequently finding Superman airing on TV. It was usually Batman what I ended up seeing. So I leaned more into Batman, even though Superman was my favorite character. So with all that said, let's go ahead and move into the DCAU movies, which are really what I wanted to focus on here in this video. So again, these are all in order of release. First up, we've got Superman Doomsday. Again, this was the one that kicked off everything back in 2007. This was the DVD, the first DVD that I got. Nice little lenticular action. I actually forgot to mention this on my lenticular video I did last month. So I missed out on that one. This was a very loose adaptation of the Doomsday series from the comics. It did its own thing to kind of consolidate it into a show. It did have a clone Superman, if I remember correctly. It's been a little while since I've seen it. But they actually did revisit the Doomsday story in a future movie, which we'll talk about here shortly. And then I just upgraded the DVD to a Blu-ray. I actually picked this up at the used bookstore for $4 last week. So this was a surprise pickup. And with this pickup, I was like, I really should do that DC animated collection video that was recommended. So anyway, I just picked up that on Blu-ray. I do want to go back and revisit that one because I don't remember it as well. Some of these older ones, it's been a little while since I've seen them. The second release that we got in February of 2008 was the Justice League New Frontier. I love this movie. I love the period setting. I love the animation style. It matches the comics. They really do a great job of focusing on all of these characters. Again, I love the period setting. The voice acting is great. This was really like, we start to see what these DC animated universe movies had the potential to be with Justice League New Frontier. So this one is definitely one I would recommend if you have not seen it. Next up, we've got Wonder Woman. I kind of remember this one. This was obviously well before the Wonder Woman movie came out. And when I watched this, I was just like, this would be so good if you took this story and did it live action. Very loosely, the live action movie kind of stuck to some of the elements of this with Ares and stuff. But, it's still pretty good. I think it still holds up. It's been a little while since I've seen it, but I did go back and revisit it after the Wonder Woman live action movie came out. And I was like, yeah. I could see where they got a lot of stuff from it. So this was a pretty solid standalone Wonder Woman movie. And this is a pretty solid Green Lantern standalone movie. Green Lantern, I really got into the comics when they did when Jeff Johns and Ethan Van Sciver did their comic book run and introduced the Sinestro Corps, and then that led into the Spectrum Wars and Blackest Night and everything with that, and that was so great. And so this was really the first time you got to see like a Green Lantern focus, and it was really solid, really good. If you've never seen this one and you are a Green Lantern fan, definitely go back and check this one out. A lot of these has been a while, so this one I'm missing the cover for it, but Superman, Batman, Public Enemies. I don't really know what happened to the cover, and this is a DVD, not a Blu-ray. I think I just stuck it in a Bluray case because I had an extra Blu-ray case, but Public Enemies is really solid. The animation matches the style of the comic books, and that's one of the things with these earlier DC movies did so well, was matching the style that they were from the comic books, because the style of the comic tends to match the story that's being told within the comic. And so it's important you don't have a cookie cutter animation style. And that's one of the things, again, these earlier DC movies did so great on. This was a really solid adaptation, and I really dug it. And then one of my favorites in my top 5, personally, Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. I really loved this one. They did a really good job of managing the characters, the scenarios. I really like the alternate universe here. Some really cool ideas introduced. I like Owlman and everything. And this is actually one I got at Blockbuster. So it's got the Blockbuster emblem right there. So as you can tell, it's been a while since I started collecting these. I was actually working at Blockbuster when I picked this up. So yeah, really solid. One of my favorite ones. And I did upgrade again. I picked this one up the same time as Doomsday. I finally got a Blu-ray, and it had a slipcover, which I thought was awesome. Another banger, Batman Under the Red Hood. You can see as these earlier movies, like these are the ones that are the most memorable. These are the ones with the individual styles for each movie that match everything. And Batman Under the Red Hood matches so well. Another one, and probably in my top 5. Really great telling of the story. Jensen Ackles does a great job as Red Hood, and it's been a little while since I've seen it, but I still remember it because it sticks with you, and I watched it multiple times. So another really solid one there. We've got Superman Batman Apocalypse. This is kind of the pseudo sequel to Public Enemies in a way. It goes with a Michael Turner cover. Rip to Michael Turner was a great comic book artist. I really I loved his style. I had a lot of comics from him, and this was a pretty good one. I wouldn't put it to the same level as some of the ones we just talked about, but this is far better than what we got pretty much over the last 5 years, in my opinion, of it. And I just have the DVD again for this one. I have not gotten a Blu-ray for it. I believe it did have a Blu-ray. Another one I just got the DVD for, All-Star Superman. Another solid adaptation of the All-Star Superman story. I believe it was 12 comics. It was a limited series, basically detailing the kind of death of Superman. He's got too much solar radiation. Really cool story in the comics. And I think they did a pretty good job of consolidating a lot of the ideas from that comic into an animated movie. There's some stuff that had to be cut, obviously. But again, another solid adaptation. The animation matches the style of the comic book. Really solid, and as a Superman fan, I was really happy with this one.
Hey, where you going?
Green Lantern Emerald Knights. Now, this one I don't remember quite as well. It was basically like an anthology Green Lantern story, if I remember. So it was like 6 or 7 different mini stories within, around the Green Lantern Corps, focusing on different characters. I don't really remember a whole lot of it beyond that. I remember thinking it was a little bit disappointing because I thought it was just a single movie. And short stories are fine, obviously, but comparing this to the other Green Lantern movie, the other Green Lantern movie's better. So there's that one. And Batman Year One. This one actually, I think, just recently had a 4K re-release. So a lot of people remember this one fondly. Another one that's an adaptation of the comic books that does a really good job. And it's another one, it's been a while since I've seen them. But Batman Year One is definitely recommend if you like Batman. What have we got here? Superman Shazam Blu-ray. Again, I'm missing the cover. In the earlier days when I would move around, there would sometimes be destruction of some boxes, obviously. And so I just put this in a standard Blu-ray case. The disc still works fine. This was like a short, I think it was like 30, 35 minutes, Superman Shazam, The Return of Black Adam. It's just a lot of action, mostly. But it really is kind of a Shazam story, from what I remember. And it had a few other DC shorts that were on this to kind of lengthen it a little bit that were attached onto the disc. But the movie itself was only like 35, 40 minutes. From what I remember. So I've also got Superman versus the Elite. This is one I don't remember quite as well. My memories of it are basically you have these new superhero group called the Elite, and they have a darker way of handling criminals in comparison to Superman's more optimistic way, and some of the populace starts to get behind them, and then some stuff happens that was nefarious. I don't know if they were being ran by some Lex Luthor or whatever. I honestly don't really remember. Maybe Brainiac. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I don't remember. But I remember some of the themes in it being pretty interesting and exploring how the populace responds to this new group and their way of doing things versus Superman. So I actually do want to go back and revisit this one. Another banger, Batman The Dark Knight Returns. This is the deluxe edition, so it includes part 1 and part 2, which were originally released individually. I did not pick them up individually because I knew that they were going to put a collection together. So I waited. I got this Blu-ray. Another really good adaptation of the story, making 2 movies out of it. Like they could tell that like we can't cut some of the stuff from this. Bangers from Frank Miller. The animation style again matches the comics, and yeah, that's a really solid. Again, if you're a Batman fan, that's definitely one you should check out. And Flashpoint Paradox. Now, this is probably where the DC AU, I would say, peaked. Everything we've talked about, I would recommend pretty much everything, right? Including Flashpoint. This is a really solid, probably in my top 5 also. Pretty decent adaptation of Flashpoint story. I love the actual embossing here on the slipcover, the nice shine to it. As just a physical media guy, I appreciate that. And really good story, really good animation, really good music, really good pacing, focusing on the Flash and really delving into Barry Allen as a character and actually accurately capturing who Barry Allen is as a character far better than what Ezra Miller's live action version did, which was a terrible version of Barry Allen. The Flashpoint was great. Then after that, we got Justice League War. This is another one I don't remember quite as well. This was basically introducing the pseudo New 52 style, if I remember correctly. They consistently tried to make Cyborg a Justice League member. Cyborg's a Teen Titan to me. He'll always be a Teen Titan to me, or a Titan when they did the Titan comic book. So them trying to shoehorn him into the Justice League, I was never really a fan of. They did it in live action as well. But this one really does kind of push Cyborg to the forefront, like they're trying to make Cyborg a thing in the Justice League. But regardless, again, I don't remember this one as well, but I probably should go back and watch it. I actually just picked up the Steelbook a couple months back. $2 I picked up the Steelbook for this one, so I got the Blu-ray already. I couldn't pass up a $2 Steelbook, so I went ahead and picked that one up. The next one that was released was Son of Batman. This was another one that I remember, but not super well. This was obviously introducing Damian Wayne as Robin, and this was basically taking place in the universe post Flashpoint. And it actually does. This movie actually kicks off a couple movies with Damian Wayne and this version of Batman. Next, we've got Justice League: Throne of Atlantis. This is one I don't remember super well. I should probably go back and revisit it. Because I don't remember it that well, I can't really make many comments on it, but I don't remember disliking it. I guess it just was kind of middle of the road forgettable, at least because I forgot it. Next up is Justice League Gods and Monsters. I do remember this one because it was so weird and different. It's kind of like it's an Elseworld story with a completely different kind of version of the Trinity here, with a version of Batman who's a vampire and Superman and stuff. It's like a darker version of Justice League, but it's not exactly Justice League, and it's not like they're evil necessarily, but they have darker elements to them. It was kind of an interesting story, and didn't have the regular Justice League showing up. The entire movie takes place in this Elseworld story. And again, it's another one I remember pretty well, and I remember liking. And then we've also got, this was basically the follow-up to Batman and Robin, which was Batman Bad Blood. This one really focused on having the Bat family involved. You had like Batwing, Nightwing, Batwoman, and I believe Robin. Damian obviously was in it. I don't know. I don't remember it too much. I only remember the ending of the movie more so than the rest of it, and the fact that it had a Nightwing in it. Let's see. We've also got Justice League versus the Teen Titans. I'm a big Teen Titans fan. I collected the comics. The Jeff Johns, really love his run on Teen Titans. And, so I always want to see some Teen Titans come together. So it's Justice League versus the Teen Titans, but it's really a Teen Titans movie. Justice League's in it, and they do end up fighting them towards the end of the movie. But it was just nice to kind of see Teen Titans again in a kind of a new, different way. It's kind of, again, this is kind of like the New 52 era style. And then we've also got Batman the Killing Joke, which I actually saw in theaters. That's right. Before the physical media release, there was a very limited run in theaters. I went with some friends. We were very excited about this. We were all comic book fans. We had all read The Killing Joke, went to go see it. Half of this movie is it's not The Killing Joke. Half of this movie is The Killing Joke. The second half of this movie, that part of the movie is really good. The first half of this movie is a completely disjointed story with Batgirl, and Batgirl gets with Batman, and they try to tie it into the Killing Joke story, and it doesn't work. It's not anywhere near as good as the Killing Joke. And so when I do go back to watch this, I usually kind of start at the halfway point and just watch the Killing Joke story. But rated R Killing Joke animated movie, singing theaters. That part of the movie was good. Then we also got Justice League Dark with Constantine. I actually do really like this one. It's definitely a lot different. You've got Swamp Thing, the characters involved. Batman's obviously involved as well. And really focusing on Etrigan as well. I really like the cast for Justice League Dark.
Darkness, everybody! Everyone!
This one is kind of an anomaly within it. This isn't part of the DCAU. This was Vixen the movie, which was a web series based on Vixen from the Arrowverse. Basically, they took all of the web series stuff and then compiled it into a movie with the first 2 seasons and this release. So I actually picked this one up for $1 for the used bookstore. I only seen a couple of the web series things, but I haven't actually watched this one. We've also got another Teen Titans movie, The Judas Contract, which is one of the most famous Teen Titans comic book runs, or comic book story, I guess I should say. And this adapted it all right. I don't think it was handled bad, but I don't think it was as good as the comic book execution of the story. Again, I just like the Teen Titans. I liked seeing this. It's just weird the way that they try and kind of fit Damian in and really bypass Tim. Tim Drake is the Robin I grew up on. The comic books have completely ruined that character. But they really focus on Damian in this one, and it's still good. It's still a good Teen Titans story, but it's just not as good as the comics. Next, we got Batman and Harley Quinn. This went back into Bruce Timm came back to do this, and they have the Bruce Timm animation. But my understanding is that this doesn't technically take place in the Bruce Timm universe, the DC universe that we talked about earlier with the Justice League and Batman animated series, Batman Beyond, and all that. It's just the style of that. And I was a little disappointed in this, to be honest. Maybe my expectations were too high because I wanted to see Bruce Timm come back. The story was kind of forgettable. Harley Quinn's entertaining enough, but I don't think she's entertaining enough to run a whole movie by herself, which is kind of really what this is. It's more of a Harley Quinn movie than it is a Batman movie.
All right, everyone. Chill.
Next, we've got Batman Gotham by Gaslight, an Elseworld story that's actually pretty good. I like period settings. I like these types of things. But anyway, it's a good little Elseworld self-contained story. And then I also have Suicide Squad Held to Pay, which I remember liking, but it kind of fell into that mid-tier category where I was like, I like that, but I don't really have necessarily any interest in revisiting it. Batman Ninja, again, this is not technically part of the DC animated universe, but this is the Blu-ray. The new one, the sequel to this one, Batman Ninja versus the Yakuza League, is coming out in a few weeks, or like a week or so. This is an anime Batman stories. Remember earlier I said the Superman Doomsday gets revisited? Well, it did get revisited in Death of Superman, and this was, I think, a better telling of the Doomsday story. They're certainly closer to the comics because they did the Reign of Superman right afterward. If you combine both of these movies, I would say this is about as high as the second half of the DCAU run got as far as like the adapting stories and telling stuff. So I think I really did do this. Again, I'm a big Superman fan, so I really like that they revisited Doomsday and kind of told the story a lot better in that one. You also got Justice League versus the Fatal Five. This was another one of the Bruce Timm movies. However, this one, I believe, does take place in the Bruce Timm universe. However, with that context, some of the changes that he decides to make, I'm not 100% big on some of the decisions he makes with the Green Lantern Corps. But they introduce a new Green Lantern who I'm not really super big on. And unfortunately was one of the main characters of the story. So, I kind of wanted to just revisit the Justice League from the Bruce Timm universe, and the new characters weren't as interesting as them. So maybe that's on me. Maybe that's the expectation aspect. But, it wasn't bad, but it didn't live up to my expectations of what I wanted. However, this, again, not part of the DCAU, Batman versus Ninja Turtles. A lot of people forgot this exists. I did not. I loved Batman versus Ninja Turtles. I did a review of it when it first came out. I don't even remember what I said about it, but I know it was positive because this transported me back to Saturday mornings. I've actually revisited this one a few times. It's just a lot of fun. It is a kind of a loose adaptation of the Batman Ninja Turtles comic book run, which I believe had 3 different stories. So this was obviously the first story. And I just think it's a lot of fun. I think it's executed well. It's interesting to see these characters interact with each other and see mutagen versions of Batman's Rogues Gallery. It's just a lot of fun, to be honest. It's definitely one I would recommend. I also got Wonder Woman Bloodlines. I picked this up a few months back. This was actually in a collection update that I did. I still haven't gotten around to seeing it, so I don't really have a whole lot of input on it yet. Batman Red Sun. I really love the comic book run. This was an Elseworlds story where Superman lands in Russia. And, the comic book was great. This is an okay. It's nowhere near as good as the comics. There's so much stuff they took out from the comics that's important to the story to try and consolidate here. The animation style is starting to get into what a lot of these things, it was kind of cookie cutter. And, it's not bad. It's almost like a Cliff Notes version of the comic book story. So would I recommend it? If you're interested in the idea of it, it somewhat explores it, but you really need to get the comic if you want to see the whole story there. And the sequel, the pseudo sequel to the first Justice League Dark movie was Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. And this really put a kibosh on the New 52 version of the DCAU movies. And I think it was just overly dark. It's one of those things where, they start kind of killing off characters and mutilating characters, and it kind of goes for shock value. And I don't think it works. It just comes across as these characters don't matter anymore, so we're just going to destroy them. It's the same thing that happens with a lot of these multiverse stories where the stakes go down because there is no stakes because they aren't going to do anything else with these characters, so they just start killing them off. So a lot of this, I think, was shock value. There's some elements of it I did like, but mostly I just felt like this was shock value, the movie. So I was kind of disappointed in it. And then after that, we had the Barry go back. So you basically had Flashpoint Part 2 after this one. And then we got the Tomorrowverse, which was introduced with Superman Man of Tomorrow. This kicked off the Tomorrowverse era of DCAU. And it was okay. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. I thought I really didn't care for the animation. It just felt cheap. That's how I would describe it. It just felt like we've gotten into cheap animation territory at this point. Justice Society World War II was definitely better than Man of Tomorrow. However, it still has that cheap, I view it as cheap looking animation. That's just me personally. However, I did like seeing Flash go back in time and then you find out it's not actually, well, I don't want to spoil it. But anyway, he's in World War II. We'll just say that. And so that element worked if you like the time travel stuff. But it just didn't live up to what we had gotten before. So this was actually the last DCAU movie that I bought physically. They've since come out with like about 10 more. I think about 10 more movies. But maybe we'll talk about that in a tier list in the future where I rank them. So I have seen almost all of the rest of the DCAU movies. I've seen almost every single one except for 2, I think. And the reason I stopped collecting them was because I think the quality really, really dipped down. The animation style, everything I think was just a very massive dip in quality from where it was. And all of these movies end up on HBO Max within a month or two after they release physically. And I have HBO Max. It's one of the last streaming services that I have. And so I might as well just go ahead and wait and watch it on there. I don't think they're to the quality of me wanting to buy them anymore, because if I buy something, the intention is that I'm going to watch it more than once, multiple times. And most of these newest ones, I watch them once and I'm like, all right, well, that was fine. I don't have any interest in watching them again. There are a couple sprinkled in there that I may get down the line that maybe I'll buy physically and watch again. But for the most part, I just don't have any interest in watching those again. So that's why I stopped getting the DC AU stuff. Anyway, and this is kind of out of order, but I want to go ahead and throw these in here now. The Young Justice DVDs. Now, this was a great series that is obviously significantly later than the Bruce Timm stuff, but this is like Teen Titans. Young Justice was a retitling of kind of Teen Titans in the comics. So you basically had the Teen Titans running, and then you had Young Justice, which focused on the younger characters. This was basically Teen Titans and in the comics. And so I did get all of the DVDs here. For it. I don't believe they've released a complete series at all. I think they only have the DVD, and then I also got season 3. It's still wrapped up. I have seen season 3. I didn't care for it as much. The first 2 seasons aired, and then it took a break. It got renewed. They brought back season 3, and I really was kind of disappointed with what they did with it. Again, this isn't even unwrapped, but I did watch it on streaming. But Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans. I said I was a Teen Titans fan. I don't really care for Teen Titans Go. I understand why a lot of kids like it. I understood why they went with it. Me, I like the Teen Titans show, the original Teen Titans show, and this was just kind of fun. It was just kind of fun. It kind of poked fun at people like me who don't care for Teen Titans Go. I don't find the humor of Teen Titans Go very humorous a lot of times. Some of it lands, but most of it doesn't for me personally. Comedy is very subjective. But I just thought this was kind of like the Batman Ninja Turtles thing, not to the level of Batman Ninja Turtles, but I thought it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun to see the serious version of Teen Titans, and then Teen Titans Go, which is obviously not serious, and then they meet other versions of Teen Titans that are even more serious. So I just thought it was kind of fun movie. So that's my collection. Jeez, wow, that took a while to get through. I was actually going to rank these. I decided to consolidate that and just talk about the collection. If I get 50 likes on this video, then I will do a ranking or a tier list of these movies, and I will include the movies that I've seen that I don't actually physically own. But really, I'm going to gauge it on interest. So I guess 50 likes or 5 comments that are asking for me to do it, then I will do it. That will show some interest. And because I do like talking about some of these DC animated movies, I really could go into way more detail with a lot of these. And some of these I need to revisit. But regardless, that is my DC animated collection. I want to thank you for sticking around on this video. Thank you, subscribers. All of you are awesome. And if you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Do all the YouTube stuff or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm GeekTrue64, and I always tell you the truth.